This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back to the show. We are honored to have our next guest joining us, Shaun Rajah. Yeah, he's hailing live here from beautiful Chicago, and we're excited to talk more about events by Shaun Rajah because really raising the bar on iconic celebrations is just part of what he does. Excited that he's back here today to talk all about, those decisions that really make or break your wedding. And to get started, tell us a little bit about yourself, please, before we begin, darling. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for having me. And yes, I've been in Chicago for the last 25 years and been working in prominent hotels in the city, right from the Drake to the Langham. And my company is Bespoke. It's a smaller based event planning company based in Chicago, but we do travel worldwide. We're currently planning a wedding in Aspen. We are heading to Atlanta end of this year, probably Portugal. And we just returned from Sydney and Scotland.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited you're here. And I love, I think it's important for people to know how you got your start. I mean, pretty impressive resume. Would you mind just sharing a little?
Absolutely. I think I'm one of those people that I can testify and confirm that I'm living the American dream. I moved here almost 25 years ago. I was a transfer from the Hilton, and I originally came in to manage the tea room at the Drake, where my career really kick-started. And that's how the journey started. I worked at the Drake for almost 16 years, then transferred to the Langham. And I think having these foundation has boosted me to be a better prepared event planner, wedding planner, so that I have always anticipated a client's needs because these backgrounds, these experiences do come in handy. So
Beautiful. And for today, did you want to start with what wedding planning actually costs, time, money, and sanity? Or I have two separate notes, or kind of like we go into the make or break the wedding and talk about those top five planning decisions that couples underestimate. You tell me.
yeah, let's talk today about what makes or breaks a wedding because I think this is our show 4 and show 5. I have a different schedules and different things that I want to catch up. And I think last week a few of my guests who listened in they had some feedback. So yeah, I think that's cool. Let's talk about the decision that makes or breaks a wedding. And are we taking any calls today or emails or where do
Yeah,
we
we
stand
were
with
going to
that?
open up the phone lines for sure. They are open at 631-307-4010.
Great.
That's 631-307-4010. So feel free to give us a call and ask any questions that we're talking about or anything in regards to planning. Or Sean's an open book. You can ask him anything. So, all right. So in this episode, we're unpacking the biggest
Yeah,
wedding planning
exactly.
decisions that people underestimate. And of course, how well, those choices quietly shape stress levels, budgets, guest experience, from emotional family dynamics, I'm sure, to budget misallocations. It's going to be an honest, behind the scene conversation that every couple needs to hear. Listen up. If you have a friend or family member getting married, refer them to us right now. Tune in, or they can watch us at a later date. So, from your experience, what are the biggest decisions couples underestimate early on?
Most importantly is we will start with the guest count. Why? Because you need to learn at this point in life, you need to stop it somewhere. We all have a budget, whether
Mm-hmm.
we all need and that's one thing, but a venue can only take a number of people.
Yeah.
So guest count drives everything. It drives the venue, it drives the budget, catering, rentals. All this accumulates. So guest count is my number one thing that people need to make it a priority. And it's absolutely okay to have a guest list B. I don't even think you need guest list C because at the end of the day, you want to, in some customs, it's just customary that you have to invite certain people. It's just like, okay, let's say my family, I'm of Indian origin, right? So there's an, my mom would probably invite up to my third cousins who I probably met once in my lifetime. and if it's my wedding, I'm probably going to say, no, that's not going to happen. So it has to be what matters the most to the family, but guest count is priority. So that's one. So when you have a good guest count or a guest list, it's good to have a guest list B as a backup, because let's say you really couldn't find a resolution. So great. Send out your save the date a year and a half out. So people will always know, people plan their lives ahead. So if you send out the save the date, asking them to RSVP if they're available, from there you can tell who's in, who's not, and then you can move your guest list B to guest list A. That's one. Booking a venue. Booking the venue with these in mind basically really puts you into perspective of understanding your priorities. So budget allocation. So as simple as, what matters to you? Would you like lots of floral? The two things that are most important at any wedding is music and food. These are the two experiences to me that, as a wedding planner, there should never be lines at my wedding. If you're going to invest money, invest on getting more service, more bartenders. That's key. No one wants to wait for a drink. You want to be always available for your guests. That's key. Okay. So allocate your budget at places that you want to spend. And also, if you compare 10 years ago till now, everyone's looking for an immersive experience. Whether you walk in and you're greeted by an artist, there's a live painter, there's a tarot card reader. People look for those experiences. But yes, music and food are things that I can help you navigate. I can say, yes, let's start off with this push pop tartar and then move on to a first course and pair that up with a beautiful rosé champagne. So it can go on. And people are going to remember that. Yes, floral is an experience. If you walk into a room and you have high ceilings, you have to have some tall centerpieces. Okay, that's the reality. And yes, you probably need to drape off something that does not. And if the hotel is older and if things are looking a little bit tired, yes, you're probably going to beautify it a bit, and that's when the design team comes in. So choosing your vendors. Look at them based on past experiences. That's so important. Like, I get majority of my business comes from referrals, believe it or not. Once a guest has a good experience, the next guest is coming back, and it just flows that way. So I think choosing your vendors based on what they do on Instagram instead of logistics, yes, you need to prioritize that, because I think that's key, because there's some amazing vendors out on Instagram, but they perhaps don't have a bigger platform. So you want to be able to know your priorities. So those are just like a little things from part one, like I would say things that really matter. But of course, down the road comes to timelines and all those little things. But just a key, just like a little bit of information just to get the conversation started today.
Got it. Well, thank you. I'm excited. This is crazy because it's like guest count. That becomes like a real big thing. People think it's kind of flexible, all right? But this is, you say, it's like the biggest cost. And we're going to, break that down with our
Yep.
venues, with everything we're doing. And we're going to talk about budget misallocation as well. Go for it.
So I'll tell you why guest count is such a big deal, because people assume it's flexible, but in reality, it's not. It's the single biggest cost multiplier. The more people you have, the more you'll be spending, whether it's napkins to linens to tableware, glassware. So that is where you need to start. And then this affects your venue options, because certain hotels can only, if you have a guest list of 250 that you're inviting, chances are 225 are going to be in attendance. So you need to pick a venue or select a venue that can accommodate roughly up to 275, 300 people, because you want to make sure this venue is large enough, because you want to have a really large dance floor. People love to dance. And to have 300 people and have a really tiny dance floor, no, they're going to be talking about it for years to come, and not in a good way. So yes, it affects venue options, catering minimums. People talk about, what are these minimums that people are talking about? Hotels always have what they call a food and beverage minimum. So on a Saturday, like a city like Chicago is usually like 60 to 75,000.
Okay.
So whatever you spend on the day of the wedding goes towards the minimum. So this is important to you to know, because if you're having 120 people and you book this fancy venue only to realize that their food and beverage minimum is 75,000, uh, yes, you're probably going to justify it and add all these things, but is it necessary? So things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Furniture and rentals, every little penny matters. So as much as possible, a venue like the Langham and the Peninsula, they already offer many things, even the Four Seasons and the Ritz, from charger plates to linens, stemware, flatware, glassware. Great. You probably don't need to rent it. But then if it doesn't go with your aesthetics, you do need to bring those in. And all these multiplies. If you have
Yes.
100 guests versus 250, absolutely. And then, of course, it comes down to staffing and logistics. Every table typically has one server. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
100 guests, you have 10 servers versus 250 people where you have 25 servers. So it all kind of connects. So it
Yep.
starts off with your guest count, and that is why guest count is such a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. All right, let's continue. My goodness, because lines are open, guys. 631-307-4010. Any questions, any stories, any experiences, of course, you could share with us. And Shaun loves hearing from you. We all do, because this is a huge thing and part of everyone's lives. And you're making it so seamlessly, look so seamless, so effortless, but it's really not. Right? What else do
Yeah,
we
I
have
think
to
I'm
remember?
I think I make it fun at the end of the day. If it's a bad experience, I tell myself and my team, remember this, same day tomorrow, we'll be tucked in bed, and this is a wedding that we did, and everyone left happy. I look at it
Hmm.
like that. You motivate your team as you go. But emotional pressure inflates these lists quickly. Once contracts are signed, the flexibility kind of disappears, because if you don't make these connections right from the start, if you just signed a contract, this comes all down to, like, this is why you need a professional to help you navigate it. Yes, anyone can read a contract. Many of my clients are attorneys, but then it's the fundamentals. Let's say they they said they would provide you one bartender for every 75 guests. My ratio is typically
Oh,
one for every 50 guests. So if we
yes.
didn't discuss this prior, yes, most venues are pretty flexible. They're like, absolutely, we'll get this done for you, Shaun, no worries. But it's nice to have everything in black and white. Staff
Yeah.
turnover in hospitality is high. When people book an event at a venue, they partly book it. Yes, the venue is well known, the venue is beautiful, but they also connect with the people. Like in many cases, like when I worked in hotels, I always say, um, the I always like to meet the guests in person. Why? Either in Zoom or in person, because I think the client connects with me better. And 90% of the chances that when I meet a client, they're going to book me. Funny story, we used to do a lot of Indian weddings at the Drake. Um, and now I personally limit myself to the number of Indian weddings because it takes a lot of my time and effort. 50% of my clientele are Jewish. So I do all sorts of different weddings. But when I used to work at the Drake, I was sort of like
Yeah.
the poster child. And they're like, hey, have you met Shaun? He's also Indian. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm like, yes, absolutely. So it helps kind of like navigate and bring the people together and book weddings. And if one of my clients actually hears this story, they probably will call you and say, oh my God, yes, I remember meeting him. So, let's talk about budget. I think we maybe have brought it up a little bit earlier. The budget misallocation. It's yes, we need to outline some sort of budget, because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for the budget. Because if I'm going to give you sort of like a number and say this is what we're expecting to run into. But of course, when we go for a floral mock-up, when we go for a tasting, and you're adding this, upgrading this, all these are going to matter. So once again, it comes down to your guest count. If you have a less guest count, you give them a better experience. But I wouldn't say better experience. You give them, you're able to spend a little bit more, but everyone's budget is different. Okay. Many people tend to overspend on visual wow moments. Does it matter? I'm a firm believer that it does. It's an experience. As I said, people these long gone are those days where people say, "Oh, it's just wedding food." No, no, no. It's not wedding food. It's a gourmet experience. If I'm doing a tasting and the client says to me, let's go with a Caesar salad," I think everyone's going to be happy with it and it's a safe choice, well, this is your chance to go think out of the box, pick something else, give them a chance to experience a gourmet culinary experience, you know? So this is one of those things. So overspending on visual wow moments, I always tell them in moderation, yes. Like, for example, I'm doing a wedding in May at the library in LaSalle, but what I'm doing different because it's inspired by the library, I'm hiring an actor to play the role of a librarian. So when guests come in, they're given a little bookmark, similar to what we used to use in those days when we go and when we go and borrow a book. They give you like a little library card. So in this case, it has the name of the guest, the table assignments. So they're going to take it and present it to the server so they know exactly where they're sitting. But these are the things that really matter. And of course, music. You know, music is a big factor, whether it's a harpist at the ceremony to the violinist for the cocktail hour, all these relate.
They all relate. You froze for 1 second.
Can you hear me?
You're back. Yes, they all relate.
Great.
Yes, they do. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And then we talk about like, couples always remember, of course, couples always remember how the day felt.
Yeah.
There's some things that happen perhaps behind the scenes. At the end of the day, it is important to me that the couple, before they can know, like it's a full day for them. So it's very important that they are aware, like, hey, what's next? So I always stop in every 30 minutes to say, hey, have you eaten? What's your day like? And tell them, okay, this is where we are right now. We're on time and no pressure. Keep going. And I'll be back with you in 30 minutes because I need to put the boutonnieres on for the groom. So because they have gone through a year and a half of all this discussion on the day off,
Yeah.
I want them to enjoy the moment, have champagne as you're getting ready, so I'm sort of like the timer. Okay, if I think they've spent too much time, I'm like, guys, you got to go. The weather isn't pleasant. We need you to get out and get back into the hotel. So little things like that. I need to be very strict with my timeline because it matters. Because at the end of the day, we have crew, we have kitchen crew on site. We have
Yeah.
people on site prepping for food. It's okay to start a little bit later, like 5 to 8 minutes, absolutely. But all these needs to be like discussed. Like we're constantly like, let's say it turns out to be a bad weather day. So the ceremony is supposed to start at 5:30, but
Oh, yeah.
only 25% of the guests are in. I'm going to say, hey, relax. People are strolling in. In reality, they're not, but that's how I say it. People are strolling in. Let's start in about 8 minutes. And I'll go back to the chef and say, hey, we're pushing everything back by 10 minutes, So these communication is key because at the end of the day, people always tell me, oh my God, it felt so seamless. It was just so smooth. We never felt like we were rushed. We were just taken from one room to the other. And that's what I strive for.
Ah, beautiful.
A smooth event always feels more luxurious than anything else we have done. It's just the way things portray. And, I did a beautiful event at the Art Institute. The venue, when you book an event like a museum or these venues typically operate up to like 4 o'clock for in-house. I mean, for guests, for the public, people come in. So you get the space at a later time versus any other venue. But the operation was smooth. We turned the space. When the guests walked in, they were greeted with champagne. It felt great. Even at the back, we were running around. So to the guests, we made it happen. But what happened behind the scenes, they don't really know. Like we were like, hey, yeah. But that's the best part of it. Yes.
Thank goodness, right? At the time, because you were sitting there squashing all these little fires that no one gets to see, but it's like they could take a deep breath and you have to handle
Absolutely.
all of that, but you're so good at that. And even let's just dive in a little further if we can to like when you choose a vendor and stuff. Do you want to talk about what's happening sometimes? Because there's some mistakes that people also make when choosing them and not choosing a good planner like yourself.
Absolutely. And I think here's what happened. Social media is a great platform, but
Mm-hmm.
there is a time where you need to stop like be done with it. Because, like, let's say you're booking a wedding with me in October of next year, which is possible, and I already have two on my books. But let me tell you this, you're at this point, you're thinking of lavender and green, but and you want to book something right now. My goal is no, you've booked me. Let's book the main vendors first. Your photographer, your band, because these vendors can only do one gig at a time.
Yeah.
Because let's say I work with Christina G Photography or Amanda Miller or
Mm-hmm.
Kyle John. They're an individual couple. Like they
Okay.
are, if they're their brand, which means they have to be there. So these are vendors that you definitely have to hire first, which is your photographer, videographer, and band and music, because they can only do one gig at a time. But it is important to know that if your wedding is a year and a half out, go out there, see what the world's offering. Trends change from time to time. Let's say you're stuck with green and purple, but I can guarantee
Mm-hmm.
you, after going to a lot of weddings this
Oh
year, you're going to
yeah.
be like, you know what, you're right. I think I'm going to change my color palette. Yeah, probably you will, because it's a year out. But it is so important that you hire based, like many people hire based on social media presence,
Yeah.
which, when you have a bigger, let's say if it's a big planning company, yes, you probably are doing, you have 10 planners. And then, yes, there's nothing wrong with that. But you probably have more social media presence because you have 10 weddings going on every weekend that you can post all these different weddings at a time. When you compare to a bespoke company like mine, I can only do one wedding at a weekend. Well, technically, I can do, which is if I do a Friday wedding or a Saturday wedding. So I may have less social presence
Yeah.
versus someone else who has like a team of 10. But it's absolutely okay. It works for them. It works for me. I'm probably going to be
Yeah.
bespoke for a long time because I like it that way. But it's always good to look at your options, not just hire based on social media presence and pricing.
Yep.
Yes, as I say, we need to have a budget.
Oh yeah.
But if you're comparing a photographer at this point and she's at 22,000, and I have given you a full recommendation and telling you that, hey, guess what? A great husband and wife team. They're so good to work with. Their end product is wonderful. Their sneak preview is done within 48 hours versus someone else who's 17,000. Well, they haven't done a wedding at the venue, which is okay, but they are from a different city. You have to pay for transportation. Their aesthetics are a little different versus. So, yes, it's $5,000 less, but I can save you that $5,000 from some other thing. Okay, so it's good sometimes to go, not to say, oh, I'm going to go with the cheaper one, or I'm going to go with, this is my budget. Sometimes we can tweak things around. So one thing to end this would say, not to hire just based on social media presence and just the price alone, and not asking, have you worked at this venue? How do you handle curveballs? I think these questions are important. Like, for example, I have, let's see, 5 different venues this year that I've never worked at before, but I'm doing the wedding. Number one, I think we all got to start somewhere. But as a planner, the venue doesn't matter. Whether it's a hotel in Alaska, whether it is a venue in Atlanta at a temple, which I have a wedding coming up, or whether it's at the St. Regis in Aspen, you know, that's why you hire a planner with experience, because you're going to these venues to check these things out.
Well, that's why we need you. Everybody needs a little Shaun in their lives. All right, so no one's called in. We still got 2 more minutes in the show. 631-307-4010. You are so welcome to at any point. And we still have a lot more to get to. So I'll just you kind of wrap things up for us today.
It's amazing how time passes by so fast.
I know, 25 and a half minutes. I'm like, what?
Um, and let me ask you, how has your week been? It's been good. It's been a long week.
Long week, a lot of cold, because last week we had the storm, and so it's been ice cold, like cold, and snow everywhere where we are. How is it in Chicago?
Well, I just got back actually. I was in Punta Minta for a wedding,
Oh,
and
where'd you go to the Four Seasons?
No, this was actually at the Conrad, and the
Oh,
couple. I've known the couple for a long, long, long time, and she married the man of her dreams, and it was beautiful, intimate. I think they had about 75 guests. Intimate. For a change, I sat back, and she didn't want to hire me because she's like, I know you're probably going to work it. And she said, I want you for a change to sit down and enjoy the moment. And it was really relaxing. The weather was great. Um,
beautiful.
we ca It was a beautiful property. The Hilton manages that venue well. I came across this little creature. It's called the otis. It's very prominent
Oh,
in Mexico. It looks like a little raccoon, but it is a long spout. And
ah,
as long as it stood there, it was great. Don't come close to me. But yeah, I got back yesterday. Everything was a smooth transition. In and out was
amazing.
great. Yes,
Congrats. Yeah, my boys and I went to the Four Seasons in Punta Mita last year. My friend actually has a house there, so we are so lucky. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Last April we were there. It's gorgeous. What a
it is.
beautiful area. And I never heard of it until like my friend suggested, let's go to my house. And we're like, okay. We all took our kids and went and had an amazing time. Beautiful properties over there. Can't wait to explore more with the Conrad too. All right. Well, thank you
Yes,
so much. And
absolutely.
how can we contact you and reach you, darling?
So I think I have my last show with you next Monday, the 9th, at least
Oh
for
gosh.
now.
So that's our
And
show 5. I have those notes already. Thank you.
yes, and I'm at Events by Shaun Rajah on Instagram. And my website is easy. It's my first name and my last name, www.shaun, and that's spelled Shaun, and Rajah, Rajah.com. And if there is a need for a party, just any kind of party, it does not just have to be weddings. I'm your guy. Thank you so much for
Thank you
having me
so
on your
much.
show.
You are our guy. Oh, lucky you getting out of this cold weather. All right. Well, I can't wait to chat more next week. And thank you so much for being here as always. We appreciate you. You're amazing at what you do. And you guys, about the reviews, go to his website, check out what people are saying about him. And he's very modest. And also, feel free if you want to bring a guest on next week, you're welcome to, because I'm sure they'll rave about you. But you're always welcome to do that as well. Looking forward to you to speaking again next week, sweetheart. Thank you again.
Okay, cheers. Bye bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.